Dear friends, this is episode number 44 of the Limitation Act. We have completed up to section 17. Now today we will deal with sections 18 and 19 together. Very important sections for practical application and for students for examination purposes. And therefore we will deal with those sections 18 and 19 in detail. Before going to, I will cite also decisions, important decisions on the point, so that it will be easy to understand. But before going to the decisions, let us see those sections themselves, both together. So we will see section 18 first. Let us read word by word, section 18. It is important. Each word is important. Now, section 18, effect of acknowledgement in writing. Where before the expiration of the prescribed period for a suit or application in respect of any property or right, an acknowledgement of liability in respect of such property or right has been made in writing, signed by the party against whom such property or right is claimed, or by any person through whom he derives his title or liability, a fresh period of limitation shall be computed from the time when the acknowledgement was so signed. To some extent, see, very long section, not so easy to understand. We will dissect it and try to understand it. This is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement of what? Acknowledgement for a suit or application, for the limitation of a suit or application is the question. It should be made when? Before the expiry of the prescribed period. Then what happens? A fresh period of limitation shall be computed from the time when the acknowledgement was so signed. So you owe a debt to me. You have executed a promissory note or any other document. Normally the period of limitation is 3 years. 3 years is going to expire. I demand the money from you. You send a letter to me stating that you want more time. You admit the liability, you admit that you are liable to pay, but you request for time. It is not the question of what time you ask. What is relevant is whether you have admitted the jural relationship and your liability. If that is so, from the date when the acknowledgement was so signed, a fresh period can be computed. So if it is 3 years before the expiration of 1 week before that you acknowledge the liability, I will get a fresh period of 3 years from that date. This is it. We will read it again. What are the conditions necessary for it? 1. Where before the expiration of the prescribed period for a suit or application. So the acknowledgement must be made before the prescribed date. Prescribed date definition is there. It is not the period of limitation, it is the prescribed period. So before the prescribed period for a suit or application. So what is it? Suit or application, not appeals. in respect of a property or right, an acknowledgement of liability in respect of such property or right has been made in writing signed by the party, in writing signed by the party against whom such property or right is claimed. So that acknowledgement must be in writing and it must be signed by the party against whom such property or right is claimed. In the example I have cited, you are liable, you are the person who is to pay money to me. I am claiming the right against you. Then you acknowledge the liability, you make it in writing and you sign it. Then that is a condition. Or by a person through whom he derives title or liability, your predecessor in interest. If he makes the acknowledgement, that is enough. A fresh period of limitation shall be computed from the time when the acknowledgement was so signed. So fresh period is to be computed from the date when the acknowledgement was so signed. So this is a method by which the period can be extended. It is, I used to say very often, that it is not the policy of law that whenever a right accrues or a liability is there, the parties should always go to court. On the other hand, it is the policy of law that the parties may agree not to go to court. They may adopt such legal methods by which they need not go to the court at all for what they require. So here there is a debtor and creditor. The debtor wants more time, creditor is prepared to do. Then who is worried? How can the court insist, the law insist that the creditor should file the suit? See, within 3 years is the period you have to file the suit, otherwise you go to hell. It is not the law. On the other hand, the law is that whenever that right accrues, the liability is there, and the parties are variants, the dispute has to be resolved through some agency. It is the court. You approach the court within a period of limitation. That's all. So that is why even it can be extended, it can be acknowledged, again acknowledged, again acknowledged, and time can be extended instead of 3 years, 30 years. No harm. There is no ceiling on the time or the on how many occasions the acknowledgement can be made. It can be made any number of times. It is the volition of the parties. 2. Where the writing containing the acknowledgement is undated, oral evidence may be given of the time when it was signed. Date is irrelevant because fresh period begins to run from that date. So it is to be certain, sometimes by omission, it is not dated. Oral evidence may be adduced with respect to the date on which it was signed. Some evidence may be available or something like that. If it is available, it can be done. Nothing wrong. But subject to the provisions of the Indian Evidence Act, oral evidence of its contents shall not be received. If an acknowledgement is to be made, it must be in writing signed by the party against whom that right is claimed. Right? So that person has to make something in writing. About the writing, about the contents, no oral evidence can be adduced. That has to be produced before court. No parole evidence. But if it is not dated, date is very relevant. Therefore, oral evidence of its date can be adduced. And what is subject to the Indian Evidence Act 91 and 92, you may see sections. It will be clear. Contents cannot be proved, exceptions are there. Now, explanation. For the purpose of this section, an acknowledgement may be sufficient though it omits to specify the exact nature of the property or right, or avers that the time for payment, delivery, performance or enjoyment has not yet come, or is accompanied by a refusal to pay, deliver, perform or permit to enjoy, or is coupled with a claim of set-off, or is addressed to a person other than a person entitled to the property or right. In all these cases, still it is acknowledgement. What are they? It is sufficient. If it is acknowledgement is sufficient, if it omits to specify the exact nature of the property or right. Suppose there is a dealing of rupees 1 lakh between A and B. A advanced rupees 1 lakh to B. B executed some sort of a document to prove it. Then before the expiration of the period, A issues a notice saying that you are liable to pay rupees 1 lakh as per this document. You have not paid it. You are liable to pay interest at this rate as agreed upon, and you have not paid, therefore the total amount due is this. You pay it before this date, otherwise I will have to file a suit. Send it. A sends a notice. B replies, dear friend, I am admitting the liability, but I am not in a position to pay. Give me some time. Fresh period begins to run from that date. Even though it is not specifically stated in the reply notice of B that this much amount is due, you are admitting that liability. That liability is admitted, therefore acknowledgement. Exact nature of the property you have not stated, the B has not stated, that doesn't matter, still it is an acknowledgement. Though it omits to specify the exact nature of the property or right, or avers that the time for payment, delivery, performance or enjoyment has not yet come. A issues notice saying that the amount should be paid immediately. B replies, dear friend, the time has not come. Wait for the time. That is an acknowledgement, fresh period. Fresh period. He need not request for extension of time. Time is already extended. So far as the creditor is concerned, he gets fresh period of limitation. So though it omits to specify the exact nature of the property or right, or avers that the time for payment, performance or enjoyment has not yet arrived at, has not reached, has not yet come, or is accompanied by a refusal to pay. A sends a notice that as per this document you have borrowed this much 1 lakh rupees from me, you have not paid a single pi, you are liable to pay 1 lakh and interest. B sends a reply, I refuse to pay. I refuse to pay. I am liable to pay, but I refuse to pay. You do whatever you want. Still, a fresh period of limitation will begin to run from that date, because it is an acknowledgement of the liability before the expiration of the period prescribed. Then the condition is satisfied. Though it is accompanied by a refusal to pay, deliver, perform or permit to enjoy, or is coupled with a claim of set-off. A sends a notice. Please, dear friend, please pay this 1 lakh together with interest. B says, it is true that I have borrowed money from you, but on some other account, as between us, see, we fill the same character and the necessary ingredients for a set-off are all satisfied. So as per the set-off, I am entitled to set off rupees 25,000 as against this claim of 1 lakh. That is stated. Even then, fresh period begins to run from the date on which such statement was made and signed. or is coupled with a claim of set off, or is addressed to a person other than a person entitled to the property or right. So B owes money to A, but that acknowledgement of liability to A is made not to A but to C, and that is proved. Still, an acknowledgement of liability is there, and it by making such acknowledgement, from that date onwards, a fresh period of limitation will begin to run in favor of A. Now I will put a question to you. A sends a notice saying that this 1 lakh plus interest you pay. B says, it is true that I borrowed money from you. I was liable to pay rupees 1 lakh. But by installments I have paid, dear friend. I have paid more than 1 lakh and interest. Nothing is due to you. Is it an acknowledgement? It is not an acknowledgement. Why? Why? Because there is no admission of the jural relationship of creditor and debtor and subsisting liability made. Not only stating the jural relationship, that relationship should continue. What B says is that we had such a relationship, but that relationship is snapped by my payment. Now there is no such jural relationship. I am not liable to pay anything to you, and therefore we are not debtor and creditor. So A is the creditor, B is the debtor. That relationship, jural relationship is admitted, and the liability is acknowledged by, need not be direct, indirectly also, impliedly also. That is enough. Inferences are possible. So if that relationship is not admitted, says that that is, I have paid everything, nothing is due to you, that is not acknowledgement. No fresh period. The word signed means signed either personally or by an agent duly authorized in this behalf. That is enough. Now what is this signed? Is it necessary that it should be in the handwriting of say A and B, B is the debtor, whether it should be in the handwriting of B? Not necessary. It must be in writing, but signed by B. Signed means with all its meaning. It is, if it is thumb impression, or is some mark or some sign or something like that, it is permissible. But it must be signed. I am liable to you. I am making an acknowledgement. I do not know how to write. I am completely illiterate. So to have an acknowledgement in your favor, I need not write all these things. I can ask somebody to write and then sign. What is signature? Some signature mark. Say I am illiterate. I will make some straw or some writing, or somebody will make a cross, something like that. That is their signature. Or it may be thumb impression or some mark. All possible. An application for execution of a an application for execution of a decree or order shall not be deemed to be an application in respect of any property or right. So here reference is made to suit or application. What is that application? That application does not include an application for execution of a decree or order. So that a decree is passed, and then for execution of that decree, say for same example, 1 lakh money decree is passed. Normally the A will get 12 years period to execute and recover it. There, before the expiry of 12 years, B writes, I want some more time. Would it constitute an acknowledgement? No. It will not. that is only for suit or application other than an application for execution of a decree or order. 18.1 alone is not sufficient. We have to see the explanation C also. So 18 acknowledgement relates to a suit or application other than an application for execution of a decree or order. Same wording we have to use, really that would have been, but it looks clumsy because 18.1 by itself is long. Therefore, if we write other than an application under any of the provisions of Order 21 of the Code of Civil Procedure, then it looks very clumsy. That is probably the legislature thought that it would be enough if it is explained by an explanation. That is method of legislative drafting. But we cannot stop with 18.1. We have to read the explanation C also, so that the meaning would be 1. The acknowledgement must be made before the expiration of the prescribed period, even though the exact nature of the property or right is not there, no problem, but it must be before the prescribed period, and it must be in writing and signed by the party who is liable, and the fresh period begins to run from that date. Even if that omits to specify the exact nature of the property or right, no harm. Or avers that the time for payment, performance or execution has not arrived at, no harm. Or is accompanied by a refusal to pay, deliver or perform, no problem, still it is an acknowledgement. Or is coupled with a claim of set off, still it is an acknowledgement. Or is addressed to a person other than the person who is entitled to the property or right, still it is valid. But as I said, if B says no, there is no subsisting liability. What is acknowledged is the jural relationship. Jural relationship of debtor and creditor, and it must be subsisting, and current liability must be there, subsisting liability must be there. If the contention is that there is no such liability, it does not amount to acknowledgement of liability. This is it. Now we go to section 19. We will read 18 and 19 together, understand it together. I will give decisions separately, but some of the decisions cover both 18 and 19. We will discuss it. Effect of payment on account of debt or interest on legacy. Where payment on account of a debt or interest on legacy is made before the expiration of the prescribed period by the person liable to pay the debt or legacy, or by his agent duly authorized in this behalf, a fresh period of limitation shall be computed from the time when the payment was made. Provided that, save in the case of a payment of interest made before the first day of January 1928, an acknowledgement of the payment appears in the handwriting of or in the writing signed by the person making the payment. That is, acknowledgement must be in writing except in cases of payment of interest made before the first day of January 1928. Therefore, so far as we are concerned, that does not apply. Now, explanation: for the purpose of this section, where mortgaged land is in the possession of a mortgagee, the receipt of the rent or produce of such land shall be deemed to be a payment. B. Debt does not include money payable under a decree or order of a court, as we found in the other section, 18. Now we will consider 19 in detail as we did with respect to 18 in the next episode, because time is running out. Thank you.